Welcome boys and girls and wargamers to another episode of Let's Build a List. So here we have a 1750 orc speed freak army. Okay, this is a very speed freaky, although it has tons of troop choices. That's because we're bringing bikes, we're bringing lots of bikes, and we're bringing a war boss on one, Wazdaka. It's kind of a list I kind of made up on the spot at the time, but it's a list I've always wanted to make. It was made possible because of Blue Table Painting letting us their armies until one of you guys buy them. You can go check that army out, Orc Army, bluetablepainting.com. But anyways, let's take a look at this list and see what we got here. Here's your army at a quick glance. We have a War Boss and Wazdaka Gutsmith as our HQs. We got 5 Knob Bikers, 8 War Bikers, another 9 War Bikers, 2 Daka Jets, and then a battle wagon full of shooter boys with a knob as well. So let's take a look at each individual unit, their purpose, and then decide what kind of army this would be good to play against. Your war boss and your warlord, they should be your warlord in this list, is a war boss on a bike. Now this is very effective configuration. And a lot argued much better than Wazdaka, but we'll get into it. Basically, he has an attack squig, cyborg body. The war bike automatically gives him the 4+ armor, so you don't have to give him heavy armor. But I give him a shoot a scorcher combi weapon, and a power claw. And that's all he needs, because most of the time his twin link Daka gun will be enough. But in times that when you get up close right before you charge, a combi scorcher can do wonders for you. Strength 5 AP4 is delicious. But he will be leading a squad of normal bikers. Here is my rendition of Wazdaka Gutsmith. I know there's a lot more crazy conversions. This is actually one of my first ever. But enough of that. I just put a quick paint job on him. He is quite expensive for an HQ, but the main thing is that he gives these guys, our regular war bikes, the ability to come in as troop choices. And so Wazdaka, all of a sudden, it's not so much that he is an awesome character by himself, but it's because the diversity you're allowed to bring because of the list, which makes him a really awesome HQ. But also, you want him to put him with the Knob Bikers, and then the Knob Bikers, when they move up the board, they can split, and Wazdaka can shoot at something and kill something, while the War Bikers can kill something else. And here are your Knob Bikers. And so what you have here is a pain boy, right here, little thing. And these are also painted by Blue Table Painting. And then you have 1 knob with a power claw and a boss pull. And then we have 4 knobs that have big choppas and combi scorches. Now the thing is about, which hurts a lot in 6th edition, is that if you're a character, your character always has the power claw, and so you can always be singled out and killed. That's not so in a knob squad. With the FAQ, the knobs all by themselves are not characters, and so only the pain boy is a character. So if ever there is a challenge issued, only the pain boy can accept or reject it. And so the power claw in this squad is a lot easier to keep alive, and that's why you usually don't need more than 1, because you have lots of big choppas, and power claws are 5 times more expensive than a big choppa, and so it gives you a little more point efficiency. For like really high strength, you can kill the lighter vehicles. Most things have, with the rear armor, 10, easily be able to take it out before even the power claw goes, and then it allows you more points for those combi scorches, which can be just super deadly because you can move so far. Most likely you'll be able to shoot them with it before you get to an assault, or maybe even afterwards, being able to overwatch with a combi scorcher, getting those D3 automatic hits, and it's a great deterrent. Then we have our 17 War Bikers, split into a squad of 8 and 9. And both squads obviously have a knob with a power claw and a boss pull. And these guys are just great just because you got to be careful. I mean, they always have that the 4+ cover because of the exhaust clouds, as long as they're Knob Bikers. But they have that toughness 5, which makes a lot of guns just not nearly as effective against them. So they can just take more hits, and they have as many attacks as normal Slugger Choppa Boy in combat, and so they can put quite the hurt on there. But just with 6th edition rewarding shooting a lot more and Overwatch, Twin Link's Daka guns are going to be your hugest ally in this list. Then of course we have our boys. Boys. Now this is our first squad of boys, but it's actually our 4th troop choice so far, because the warlord, the warlord, which is the war boss, can bring the knobs as troop choices, and then they go on bikes. So there's 1 troop choice, whilst Daka can make bike squad troop choices as many as he wants. And so that's 2 more troop choices, and then we're on our first squad of boys, but 4th troop choice. And all of a sudden playing objective games is great, but also just survivability, amount of shooting. Without objectives you can do fine as well. If you don't have that many squads, that can deal out lots of hurt. But these guys are all shooter boys. Again, shooter boys, you're in an open top battle wagon, so you want to be able to shoot and try to stay in the battle wagon until you can get out and charge. Until then, you kind of want to keep inside or move up enough and then get out the back maybe, because the exploding battle wagon does hurt a lot at strength 4. It's only 4 is the wound, and 6+ save isn't going to get you too far. But you have a knob, power claw, and a ball spool in the front there. And of course you got a def roller, and in this list you just I put red paint job and a big shooter on the battle wagon. Make sure it goes a bit faster. And def roller is great for ramming, tank shocking, but also you re-roll dangerous terrain tests. And if you get a weapon destroyed, you want something other than the def roller to die. Bring on the Daka. So we have 2 Daka jets. You can bring in whatever color you like. But you want to upgrade them so they have 3 Daka guns, obviously, because they're super shooters, sorry. And because, well, it's just strength 6, you wound on 2s to most everything. And there's a good number of things that you don't penetrate power armor, but one up from that, you just scythe through guys with less power saves. There's just tons and tons, and even guys, even Terminators, even the 2+, you just can cause so many attacks and so many wounds with them, and they're great anti-flyers as well. And so you're dealing with other flyers. These Daka jets have just a wonderful all-around mobility, and they can just lay down covering fire while your bikes are advancing up the field. So we've seen the list, first impressions, really fast, lots and lots and lots of Daka. Now the Daka is great in a couple ways. First of all, the bikes have strength 5. Okay, Daka has a strength 5, and so they can hurt like light armor vehicles. Like if you're playing other orcs with trucks, or like Dark Elder, or a lot of things have back armor 10 as well. And so first turn with this army, almost guaranteed, you're gonna want to be turbo boosting up the board. Okay, well, because there's a lot of shooty armies out there. If it's more close combat, you may not have to turbo boost, but if it's something that you're gonna get outgunned, or if you just kind of sit shooting each other, and you're confident enough that they're just really bad at close combat, say Tau, Dark Eldar, even Eldar, most of the time, not a lot of their guys are great at combat. When it's that kind of situation, yeah, you just turbo boost forward. Now when you turbo boost with the bikes, all your bikes, you normally get a 4+ save always, just because of the exhaust cloud. It's fantastic. Then it goes down to a 3+ because you're turbo boosted. Now it's all for all bikes, but whatever. You have a 3+ cover save and your toughness 5. And so all these, like someone's shooting bolters at you, whatever, it's 5s to wound, and then you have a 3+, basically power armor save. And they can shell out tons and tons of stuff, and bikes are gonna die. It's gonna happen. If they target your knob biker, then you have 2 wounds each, plus feel no pain after the cover save of 3+. So it's really, really just hard to deal a lot of damage to them. And you can go right out in the open. You don't need to go around cover at all. And so you can get into a nice lane where next turn you can move up clearly. Because half the time with assault armies, the problem is that you get bogged down in terrain. You need to get in terrain because you need the cover save, and you just weasel your way through the terrain and hopefully get to them. You hopefully get good rolls. You don't want to roll a 1 on difficult terrain test and you're just like, duh, right? Even though you get to roll, 3 dice or whatever, or 2 dice. It's just harder and harder to do that. So with these bikes, you want to be out in the open. First of all, you don't want to be running over terrain because then it kills you because of dangerous terrain tests. That means they're going to be jumping in the terrain, which it's fine because dangerous terrain isn't nearly as bad as 6th edition. If you get hit, or if you roll a 1 on dangerous terrain test, if you move over a difficult terrain, if you have to charge through it or just move through it normally, you also have that 4+ armor save. So you're not as susceptible to it as well. And then with the boys in the battle wagon, best thing to do with them is you just run them straight up the middle. 100% up the middle, and the bikes follow up the flanks with 1 bike's middle and in the support. How it works best for me, in my opinion, is you take one group of bikes on the left, and they're going to be accompanied with the war boss. Then another group of bikes, the bigger group of bikes in the center, alongside the battle wagon, and then the knob bikers and Wazdaka on the left or on the right, where whatever, it doesn't matter what side, and this is all subject to change depending on how your opponent deploys. If you have deployed up your full 12 inches, which you should always, then your opponent is only going to be 24 inches away to 36 inches away. Okay? And so if you move up just your minimum 12, if they lined up on their board edge, which would be around right here, then your guys are all going to be in range to shoot your Dakagans and do some serious damage. If it's the long table edge, then you can just turbo boost, and you don't get the bonus anymore from turbo boosting added to your cover save, because you have Jink because your bikes, so you get a 5+, and then you turbo boost, you get a 4+, but you already have a 4+ as knob or orc bikers anyways, and so it's not the biggest deal there. But definitely your battle wagon, whether you're close, far, whatever, you want to be moving that full 18 inches up, which is your 12, and then all outing 6. Okay? Unless there's something really, really juicy for you to shoot, then obviously then just move up your 12, and then all the passengers shoot. Although no, that would actually, you don't only move up 6. So it has to be really, really juicy if you're not going to go your full 18. Most likely you're going to go your full 18. Because this guy you do want to hide behind cover if you can. So he'll have to come out and around because you don't want him getting picked off. But the trick thing with the battle wagon is his front arc is only like, it's from the center that you measure to the hull. So his front arc is actually really skinny, while the side arcs are really big and wide and fat. And so as you're moving up, you need to point him at what is the biggest threat, because someone's going to get side armor no matter what. They're going to be able to get side armor. So you have to make sure your front armor is pointing more towards the biggest threat, and just accept that someone's going to get your side armor and just go on a tilt slightly. So you move up and then slightly move on a tilt. And then hopefully in your point, and hopefully they won't move to the side enough to get, you know, your blast cannons and all those other strength 8, strength 9, strength 10 stuff on armor 12 instead of armor 14. And then the knob bikers, again, move up. If you need to turbo boost, turbo boost. If you can get people in the range to shoot, then shoot, because you need to just wear them down. You're going to have the same cover save no matter where you are on the board, and so you want to shoot them, again, unless it's the point where they are a crazy shooty army. Then of course you can by all means turbo boost up there. So you kind of learn what to do. So what kind of armies would you guys be good against? Well, and then of course the Daka Jets come in. So if you go second, it's kind of annoying, but it's not all bad, because if your opponent has flyers, their flyers are most likely going to come on first, and they'll do some damage, but then your flyers will come on, take out theirs, or have free reign on all the little peoples on the ground. And the great thing about turbo boosting is that turn 2 you're going to be assaulting no matter what, or people are going to be assaulting you, or whatever. So like when people have stuff in transports, troops in transports, you can get there, you can guarantee to be within charge range and kill them. And so if you get to them, blow them up, then the Daka Jets come on and blow the crap out of the passengers. So that's fantastic. But really, the Daka Jets, you need to come on just a little bit, just your minimum 18, so you can shoot. Make it so there's lots of room to move around on the board, because you want them on for at least 2 turns. And if you can't get anything great, then just fly them off. Turn 3, you don't have them, that's fine, because in turn 4, they're back in and you get the perfect shot almost always. And do some serious Daka damage, assuming they're both still alive. And sometimes you forget, like I do, to bring them back on. Don't do that. But really, it's just a really fun list. There's lots of armor to it. And I thought of one little variation to it, is in that the boys, when they blow up, it's just, you kind of need to get out of the battle wagon as fast as possible, which I don't like. But so there's the option, if you take out one of the knob bikers with the Big Choppa and Kami Scorcha, and you take out a normal war biker. So they're both down to 8, and then the knob biker's down to 5 guys, which is still potent enough, okay? Follow me here. You have exactly enough points that you can change, or maybe like off by 5 or 10, but you can switch upgrades on the battle wagon, all that kind of stuff. You can change your boys in the battle wagon to Ard boys. Now what this does when you have Ard boys, They're still a troop and everything, but they have a 4+ armor. So I argue it's a bit more expensive. Might as well just bring a bunch more boys. But this list is all about surgical strike. You know, you hit where you need to, when you need to. You have the power of mobility, and if anyone's faster than you, it's because they're turbo boosting, and then you can shoot and assault them next turn anyways, because bikes are also great in assaulting, which most bikes are not. They're mostly meant for like the shooting and stuff. So orc bikes are great for that. But anyways, I digress. Ard boys, when the battle wagon blows up, because mostly actually it does, just because, yeah. But if it does blow up, your guy, half, like basically almost half of the guys that would die will not. Instead of a 6+, you have a 4+ now, which is great. So you don't have bad rolls, but also you should be able with the battle wagon get up, and when you deploy, you should be able to charge in as fast as possible. And so by doing that, if you get into combat really fast, that also makes your boys a lot more survivable. I mean, you're getting hit by, like, most likely it's gonna be normal attacks. And so your normal 6+ all of a sudden turns to a 4+, and fantastic. Now the downside to this is that if someone does have a really awesome close combat squad, normally you throw your boys at them because you don't want your bikes getting into combat with them at all. And you kind of shoot, and if they're getting too close, you can throw your boys in the way, hopefully, and then they die because they're not that expensive and you have your more expensive stuff. But so when you put the Ard boys on, then you don't have a throwaway unit anymore. They're all really precious. But you know, that makes you, force you to use your shooting more and not getting into combat. And so it's kind of a weird orc list where you're actually not trying to get into combat necessarily, unless it's 100% for your benefit. It's like, okay, if I charge in, I'm going to slaughter them. Great, I'll charge in. But if I'm not going to slaughter them, if it's gonna be a close fight at all, do not get into combat, you run around and shoot. Because squads are usually good at one thing or the other. War bikers are great at both. And that's why they're so expensive, like 25 points for one. And people are, it's not actually that expensive, but think about it, how much space takes up on the board, and you have to buy all the models. But it's a great list, try it out. I hope you like it. And this list is particularly deadly, again, against, like, say, Dark Eldar with all their armor 10, anything with armor 10 or 11 on the front, you're just slaughtering with your strength 5 because you have so many shots. Like, you have 3 shots each with each bike, and so if you have 8 of them, 8 times 3, hitting on 5s, twin linked, you get the idea. I'm not going to try to do any math because I will fail. This list would also be great against a Tau army, because although they have tons and tons of shots, you can, again, I said earlier, like, I'm actually going to try this list against Owen's Tau. So you can watch for that. I think this army would beat him. Because you have to fork out your marker lights to get rid of my cover save then. But then my cover save is actually, like, I have a 4+ armor, and so only some of this stuff can get through, and the non-bikers it's just really hard to get target priority. And with the terrain, you can actually just get out of line of sight a lot of times and come up. And if you've ever shot a heavy flamer at a group of fire warriors, it's funny. They're all 4+ armor. So against Eldar has a lot of 4+ armor guys. And so all the combi scorches would be fantastic against them, and the Daka jets would be fantastic against them. And then just, your regular shots. So again, anything less than, like, even Tyranids, a big Tyranid army, you should be able to, with Overwatch plus shooting, be able to wear them down. A heavy monstrous creature list. Again, with the 2d6 charge range, it's really risky because you can just kind of pop up at that 18 inches and use your pre-measuring. Get exactly 18 inches away, make a big arc, and just pummel and hope fails a bunch of armor saves. And if not, you're exactly 18 inches away, so moving 6, you have to get the 12-inch charge. And so you just have to abuse your distance, and when the moment comes, you can just charge in and slaughter. It's, if you know how to use war bikes, this list will be incredibly easy to use. It's super fun. The only problem is that it takes a while to collect that many war bikes. But I recommend, even by proxy, testing it out, trying it out. And I know you'll love it. And so that's all this time. Dan, MiniWarGaming. Happy wargaming.